Hello, Big Reds. This is Mr. Official talking. So we want to talk about learning target 7 again, which is I can prove lines are parallel by using angle pairs formed by intersecting lines and by parallel lines in a transversal. Okay, so let's recap. What do we know about angles? All right, so please write this down. All right, so first of all, alternate interior angles if lines are parallel that's an important thing. I'm going to zoom in just a little bit. So if the lines are parallel, alternate interior angles are congruent, which means they are the same measure. Alternate exterior angles are congruent. Consecutive interior angles are supplementary. Corresponding angles are congruent. Vertical angles are congruent. And a linear pair are supplementary. Now, these first four, the lines have to be parallel. They have to be parallel for all these four things to happen. Okay? These two things will happen no matter what. Okay? So, that's important. So let's look at these angles again. All right, so let's say this is 120 degrees and this is 120 degrees. Okay, so the question is, are the lines parallel? Could we prove that the lines are parallel? Okay, well, what type of angles are these? These are exterior angles. Okay, and we know alternate exterior angles are congruent when the lines are parallel. So they're congruent. That means the lines have to be parallel, right? Okay, let's try something else. Okay, I'm going to make an example. Let's say this is 150 degrees and this is 130 degrees. What type of angles are these two? Well, they're corresponding, aren't they? Okay, if we look at corresponding angles, it says if the lines are parallel, the corresponding angles are congruent. Are these corresponding angles congruent? No. Okay, so that means that these two lines are not parallel. Okay, that's as simple as it is. If the lines are parallel, these two lines, let's say L and M, if L and M are parallel, then all these properties are true. If L and M are not parallel, then those things are not true. So that's what we want to talk about when we're talking about proving if lines are parallel or not. Okay? All right, flip over paper. Okay, now before I numbered them, and I hope you're not remembering numbers, so I'm going to number my angles a little differently than I did before. Okay, and let's say these lines are parallel. Okay, now I'm going to write some angle pairs down, and I want you to tell me what type of angles they are. So we'll start with angles 1 and 7, angles 7 and 8, angle 5 and 7, angle 4 and 8, angle 3 and 7, and angles 2 and 3. All right, now what I want you to do right now is stop the video, and I want you to fill all these in on your paper. Try them without looking first and see if you know them. So go ahead, stop the video. Okay, well, I'm assuming that you stopped the video, you filled these all in. Now we'll check them. 1 and 7 are across from each other, so they are vertical angles. 7 and 8 are next to each other in line, so they are a linear pair. 5 and 7, they're in the same position, top left, so they are corresponding angles. 4 and 8, they're both on the outside. They're on the outside of those two parallel lines, and they're alternate, so they're alternate exterior angles. 3 and 7. 3 and 7 are both inside the parallel lines, and they're in alternate spots. So they're alternate interior angles. And finally, 2 and 3. 2 and 3 are both inside the parallel lines, and they're in the same, they're right next to each other. So they're consecutive interior angles. Okay, so on the next quiz, you have to know all these types. So if I tell you 2 of these angles, you have to tell me which type of angle they are. You also need to be able to tell me what the degree measures are if I gave you maybe one of these angles. So let's try that. Let's say angle 2 is 65 degrees. What I'd like you to do right now is pause the video again and try to fill in all the other angle measures. So go ahead. Ready, set, pause. All right, I'm hoping you pause the video. Now let's check these out. So I know 2 and 4 are corresponding, and if the lines are parallel, that means 4 is also going to be 65 degrees because they're the same measure. Okay, I know 5 and 4 are a linear pair. That means they add up to 180. So I could take 180 minus 65 gives me 115 degrees. So 5 is 115. 5 5 and 1 are alternate exterior angles, so those are the same. So this is, angle 1 is also 115 degrees. 2 and 6 are alternate interior angles, they're the same, so this is 65 degrees. 2 and 3 are consecutive interior, that means they add up to 180. So 180 minus 65 gives me 115. So 3 is 115 degrees. 7 and 1 are vertical angles, so that means 7 is 115 degrees. And 2 and 8 are vertical angles, so angle 8 is 65 degrees. Okay. So on the next quiz, you need to be able to, if you take one angle measure, you should be able to figure out all the other ones. You should know all the names of all the angles, types of angles, and you should be able to do proof like we did in video number 1. So make sure you look back over those. All right. Hopefully this helped a little bit. Hopefully you're an expert now at using these 6 types of angles. Remember, alternate interior, alternate exterior, corresponding, and vertical angles are all congruent. Consecutive interior and linear pair are supplementary. All right, have a great day and go Big Reds.